Hi, my name is Deb Enright, and this is Money Matters. Thank you for joining us. And as always, thank you to Daryl Thompson of Raymond James for his generous sponsorship of our Money Matters program. Today, we focus on the significant impact our Williamson County Chamber of Commerce, Williamson Inc., plans to have on Williamson County school students and the business community. Their vision is to build a core of partners driven to strengthen our school district in ways that use real-time experiences to expand the instruction already found in the classroom, offer our faculty hands-on opportunities to underscore the relevance of the WCS curriculum to the working world, and talk with students about career choices way before they walk across the stage to receive their high school diploma. Williamson Inc. understands the power of having the #1 school district in Tennessee for business recruitment. They also understand the unique ways in which to create opportunities of connection between the boardroom and the classroom to engage our students and Williamson County businesses for a chance to work together. First up, we will describe to you the different components of the program, it's massive, and take you to the Williamson Inc. website to get you involved. Then we invite Michael Fletcher, Director of School Safety and Security for Williamson County Schools, to talk about his vision for a student internship in his line of work. Chad Staten, Branch Manager for Bluebell Creameries, joins us later to talk about his interest in the Speakers Bureau. We'll talk to both of them about how they would construct a job shadow day for a senior and what participating in the 8th grade career fair could look like as they represent their industry. And finally, we'll hear from Courtney Smith of Independence High, a senior who knows the ins and outs of being in a student internship. All this on Money Matters, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Not too long ago, I made a big mistake. I let our teenage daughter have a drinking party at the house. I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it would be safer if they drank here. And I'm embarrassed to say I thought we might be the cool parents. I didn't know it was illegal to allow teenagers to drink alcohol in our home, that we could be prosecuted, fined, even jailed. And we were. And that wasn't cool.
And welcome back to Money Matters. This is a great program Williamson Inc., our Chamber of Commerce, Williamson County, has created. They started with an education committee to formally consider and design programs that seek to enhance the learning experience for our students, as well as help to develop workplace-ready skills for post-secondary employment. Members on the committee come from all aspects of businesses around the county, and the committee is led by Jean Maj of Belmont's Executive Leadership Program. Now, there are 5 parts to the initiative, which launched with Dr. Looney's help in January at the monthly Chamber event. Dr. Looney gave a rousing State of the Schools message, and later that afternoon, the Chamber sent out via email 1,400 surveys. Well, actually, a survey to 1,400 Chamber members seeking their participation in one or several of the initiative's programs. Now, the initiative has created 5 service opportunities for businesses such as you to join: teacher externships, student internships, Speakers Bureau, job shadowing, and being a part of the 8th grade career fair. To join this program, you simply go to the Williamson Inc. website at www.williamsonchamber.com. Select the education link, and there you will be given the contact information for the WCS employee that works for the Chamber offices once a week and coordinates the activities of the Education Committee. Now let me provide a brief overview of the Teacher Externship Program. So what we want to do in the Teacher Externship is give teachers a 3-day real-world look at a particular industry that they teach in their classroom. We want them to spend time in a workplace to learn through direct experience about trends, skill requirements, and opportunities related to their subject to really bring relevance to what they're teaching. We want to provide a peer-to-peer learning environment, And we want to provide externships that offer professional development experience that is often transformative for educators and their students. Okay, so we see that this program, this initiative by Williamson Inc. is comprehensive. It's staffed and it's ready for volunteers. Next, we will introduce you to one of those volunteers that actually works within the WCS walls. His name is Mike Fletcher, or we call him Fletch. His interest in creating a student internship program for our kids came from his attendance at our training sessions this winter. Stay with us. Fletch is next. And welcome back to Money Matters. I'm joined now by Mike Fletcher, or Fletch as we call him in the office, who's the Director of School Safety and Security. Fletch, thanks for joining us today on Money Matters.
Thanks for having me here today.
I want to talk about how you started to decide that a student internship for the kind of work you do would be interesting for you and probably interesting for a couple kids in the district. So talk to me about when that happened and what you hope to show these kids in an internship.
Well, as I watched this process go along, one of the things that I thought would be great was to be able to provide a student with the ability to see into emergency management and emergency services, and especially in Williamson County. In my role as Safety and Security Director, I get to work alongside with all of those people. We've got great partners throughout the county in our emergency services. So I thought, what a great opportunity for someone to come with me and spend some time and get to know the emergency service workers throughout the county to see what roles they do in fire service, emergency medical services, and including law enforcement.
So that sounds like a time longer than just a day. So how many days do you think? Or is it actually a couple of weeks you might have a student along with you?
I certainly think we've got material for a couple of weeks, especially if we get into all the different aspects of emergency services in the county. So we've certainly got plenty of things to go and do and see throughout the county along those lines. And I think it would give the student an opportunity to see more than just a few hours of it, but how an actual day in emergency services works throughout the county.
So if a guidance counselor or a parent who's listening realizes their kid might have an interest in this, what kind of things would a student be interested in or find kind of fascinating that could lead them to that kind of internship with you?
Well, you know, I think a lot of people as kids have the notion to become something in emergency services when they see the flashing lights pass them on the road, whether it be a fire truck or a police car or an ambulance, and they wonder about that world. And so a student who might be excited about emergency services, they might have just that childhood dream of wanting to learn more. This would be an opportunity for them to actually truly see those different emergency services and maybe better choose which one might be something that they would enjoy doing as a career.
Well, and I think what I've learned from you is that it's not kind of this single path. So could you talk to us about kind of where your path went to place you now as the Director of School Safety and Security?
Sure. Well, I started in the military in the 82nd Airborne Division, and when I got out of the military and came back to the county, I began working at Williamson Medical Center for the Emergency Medical Services. And through that, I had the opportunity to become a reserve deputy at the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. And with that, I just began to experience all the different parts of emergency services and had a great fondness for them. Spent 15 years doing that. When I came over to the district for the Safety and Security Director position, I also got heavily involved in emergency management, which is your preparedness for disasters and planning for emergencies that may occur, especially on the county level. So really the pinnacle of all the emergency services kind of lies in the emergency management. Just the wanting to do more for my county, wanting to do more for the community in which I live and love so much led me to the position ultimately.
So if a kid wants to figure out what this internship is going to look like, can you just give me, and I know you're still designing it, and there's a lot of process that folks who want to do this have to go to, including some training that we give at the Chamber, but tell me what a day is going to look like, or what you think at least one of the days might look like.
I think we'd break it up into components. we would take my role as the safety and security director and see how it interfaces with the emergency services. And then the intern would be along with me as I go about my day, going for meetings and introducing them to the emergency service workers, where it be fire chiefs or sheriffs or police chiefs. Just having them an opportunity to kind of see the command staff level of those organizations, the inner workings of them, and then of course how it relates to school safety and security.
So are there degree programs, undergraduate degree programs or professional programs that could help? I guess part of the student internship is getting your boots on the ground, if you will, right? And then figuring out, yeah, this is really interesting, or no, I think I'm just going to watch CSI and help them solve it on the TV, right? So are there programs, are there undergraduate or certification or technical programs kids could maybe move into?
Always education is really important in being successful in the career field. So there are paramedic certifications, there's also science certifications, fire science degrees, emergency management degrees at a lot of different universities throughout the United States. So there's a lot of different tracks they can go, but definitely if you're going to come into emergency services, the technology today is tremendous, and it's going to take somebody with a well-rounded education to be successful in emergency services.
Well, this is going to be fascinating. I mean, who knew, right? We had you come in to help with training, and all of a sudden the wheels started turning, and you're like, I think this would be a really neat thing for kids to see just how big the industry is and how much of it is active here in Williamson County. So that's great. Stay with us, okay? We want to add one more voice to this story today. Chad Staten is a current WCS ambassador and the branch manager for Bluebell Creameries. Bluebell's community commitment is seen everywhere in our schools. Chad joins us to talk about the Speakers Bureau component of the Chamber Initiative. Now, we've kept Fletch with us because I want to ask both of them what shadowing their job would look like and how they would design their booth at the career fair to excite kids about their line of work. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Chad Staten.
When approaching a stop sign or a traffic light, if a car and cycle are arriving at the same time, the car needs to stay back just a bit, allowing the cyclist room to move in front into the turn lane. This allows the cyclist to turn left safely. If the lane is too narrow, or if the cyclists are traveling pretty much the same speed as traffic, then the cyclists have the right to come out and take the lane. Stay safe and have fun. And most of all, enjoy the ride.
And welcome back to Money Matters. The studio's filled now with folks who want to help students through the Chamber Education Committee initiative, and we're really glad that Fletch has stayed with us, and now we have Chad Staten from Bluebell, who's always welcome at our offices. And so welcome to you, Chad.
Thank you for having me.
Really glad you're here, and thanks for sticking around, Fletch.
Absolutely.
A couple of things I want to talk about. There's one more piece of the initiative, which I'd like you to talk about. It's the Speakers Bureau. So can you tell me your understanding of it and how it all is going to work for you?
Yes, from what everything I've been told is the Chamber came up with the education channel and some ideas that they had of how they could be more involved in the Williamson County School District. And hearing about it through the Ambassador Program, I thought, well, what a great way to continue my efforts in helping the school by getting in the Speakers Bureau and going around and talking to classes, working with the teachers to make sure your message fits their curriculum, and then find ways that you'll find a message that maybe reach certain students, and bring some light to what you do and the way you got to where you are, so maybe they can shed some light on their path.
Well, I love that. So what I'm understanding, and I know we're really intentional on our instruction, and I think one thing I learned as we kind of were putting this program together is that the district wants to be sure that that instructional time is saved and really show how relevant, because sometimes we do maybe wonder why this class is going to help us later. Having you come in and say, no, this is really important.
Right.
Working alongside that teacher is going to, I don't know, it might be really a fun day in the classroom to hear how whatever the subject is, because I understand you can really, it's really any subject.
Correct. It's how you and the teacher can tie your message into what they're going over at the time on their work plan. You don't want to waste anyone's time. The classroom is a sacred place of learning. You want to be able to, the message that you bring flows right along with what they have going on and bring some real world experience to it. And that's such a great way. I've found through the ambassador program, you're not only helping by lending your expertise, you're learning as you go as well. So it's a little bit for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. We talked with Fletch about his kind of career journey, and before we talk about, there's 2 other sections yet to talk about with this initiative. Can you talk about your kind of career journey?
Wow, my career path is a different one. At first, when I was in school like everyone else, I thought I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Went off to school, majored in kinesiology, was going to play baseball, doing all these things, and then one thing led to another. Long story short, I ended up doing stand-up comedy for 3 years.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, I'm running Bluebell ice cream here in Nashville. So there's different twists and turns in everyone's path and their story. The key is to stay focused, stick on what you're wanting to do, and don't just throw your hands in the air. Be open to suggestions and ideas and things as they come along. Don't be closed-minded.
So that's going to be a fun story to share, and yours will too. There's another program, job shadowing.
Yes.
And I understand that, I mean, you can, any student probably could call and say, could you help? But particularly for seniors, there's a day when they are assigned to go out and partner with someone in the community, a business leader or maybe a nonprofit person as well, who they can get a taste, if you will, of maybe a particular job. And so it sounds like it's not only just seeing about how much happiness comes with Bluebell,
Right.
but how you can find yourself in that job when you thought you might be doing, I don't know, playing baseball.
Well, yeah, I never thought that I would grow up and, as I used to joke all the time, sell popsicles and ice cream to people. I have no idea I'd be doing that, but I am truly blessed to work for such a great company and work with great people. And the one thing I would hope they could shadow and take away from me is so many different aspects in your job. Everybody has a unique talent that they're given. How you use that talent is up to you. It's your choice. Whether you pick this industry or that industry, you still have that talent. So if you can channel it and do what makes you happy, then it's never really a day of work.
I love that. So job shadowing for somebody who comes and says, I just want to know what emergency services is about, or school security is about. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that day might look like for a student who really may see this as an option for them and wants to know a little bit more, maybe still at 30,000. So what would that day kind of look like?
Well, depending on where we're at during the time period of the year. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we're in the middle of summer and we potentially have a severe weather event coming up.
Okay.
So we've got to protect our citizens from that. So on the school side of things, we're going to look and see if there's any of our campuses in use and who's on them, make sure that we've got the proper warnings in place. We're going to get with our partners at emergency management and work with them over coming up with how we think the severe weather event is going to impact our county, do any kind of pre-planning and preparation that we need before it arrives, monitor the system as it comes through the area, and then afterwards do an assessment to make sure that we don't have anything that needs to be fixed after the event's over with.
So what I'm hearing is that you may have some contact with Carol Birdsong. Is that correct?
I work next door to Carol Birdsong. We spend quite a bit of time together.
You do.
Yep.
So it shows also that communications kind of works also with emergency services, and so when we hear that lovely voice, we know that you've been a part of that decision.
Absolutely. We've got a great team of people that we get together during these types of events. We talk it over. We look at the latest data. We speak with the National Weather Service. So it's a big team effort. And then at the end of the day, Dr. Linney makes that final decision. And then, of course, Ms. Birdsong gets her famous phone call put out to everyone.
Everybody loves Carol's phone call. It's like, Chad, when you see on the like phone caller ID, Williamson County Schools, and you know there's maybe snow in the air or maybe some inclement weather, there is just a cheer that comes and rises up over the district, I think, in anticipation of hearing her voice. It's really kind of cool. All right, so there's a final component. I'm almost exhausted from hearing all that you guys in the chamber are going to do. There's a final component, which really is kind of a great way to introduce kids to maybe some professions that their family isn't engaged in, or just thinking about what it's going to take after they get into high school to be something, or even what stuff they might need in high school to get them positioned for whatever undergraduate or working world they're going to directly go into after they get their diploma. So we have this, it's district-wide, and we also include the kids from Franklin Special School District, which I love, and they go to the Ag Expo. And you guys are going to be able to talk about what you've done, what Bluebell has done, and then what law enforcement does as well. But I think what you also get to talk about, Fletch, is kind of what school infrastructure also includes as well. So let's start with Bluebell, because I imagine you're one of the more popular booths.
We tend to be very popular. They come by the booth. I would love to say it's to hear my message, but no, it's to get the ice cream. I'm more than happy with that. But we have participated in it several times, and it just provides the company an opportunity to help be one of those people that maybe sparks an interest. As I've been in the ambassador program, the thing I've seen is the long-term dedication and commitment people have made, from the parents to the child to the teachers, or shall I say the student, from the get-go. And it is something that they have found that they have a burning interest in. I don't know where that was sparked. It could be at this student fair, and then that's where that fire starts. For the person, no fire thing intended there for safety purposes, but that's where the spark is for the child that starts. And so you could be part of that.
I love that. That's right. So anybody can play in that game, right?
Yes.
Because the expo is pretty large. And I know for the law enforcement side, they take over the, I don't know if it's called a ring, but the ring, and then they'll have cars come out, and they'll have dogs, I think, sometimes, and let the kids kind of see the equipment. But I think one thing, when we were talking just before, we talked about the infrastructure of schools. So can you talk to me about how you guys might put something together to talk about what food service does, what facilities does, what you all do?
Well, you know, behind the scenes in the district, supporting those good teachers and principals so that students have that great learning environment is a huge cast of characters of people that do an array of jobs throughout the district to keep things up and running for the school year. So we may put something together where the kids can actually see how many different people it takes to get involved and make Williamson County schools as successful as they are.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we learned just in terms of chicken nuggets that you lay them end to end. What did they say, Chad? Nashville to
Chattanooga. I believe,
I mean, honestly. And then there are, I also remember that with some of the bus guys. They were up at 2:30 in the morning, I think, when it was really, really cold, and you were a part of that as well. And the guys were doing all the facilities management if there's dangerous weather. So that could be a really great career opportunity for somebody as well. Well, thank you both.
I'd like to thank Fletch from the ambassador side of it. We got to see how the safety aspect of it, because one of the things you know about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is safety first. And when that is met, then everything else just becomes so easy and natural for things to take place. And that's one of the first things you see when you go in your school district, is how comfortable everyone is and how they have a care in the world set for learning, and that is such a great environment. And thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I think your ice cream is fantastic. So.
Great. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining Somebody Matters today. I really do appreciate both of you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Finally, there's nothing like hearing from a student on the impact these programs have on their school experience. And so now we're going to see, or hear actually, from Courtney Smith, who is a student at Independence. We're going to hear about her student internship with Birdsong Creative and how it showed her that this actually was the industry she wanted to be in. And it showed her that perhaps something she thought was of great interest to her may in fact take a backseat as she saw all the inner workings of this particular company.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I came out of my internship knowing that I wanted to be a graphic designer, that I wanted to start a graphic design firm in my future, work in business. I wanted that, and Birdsong has really helped me through that. A few things, like as a student, that I want to know is I want to know what it's really like to be in an internship. What is it like to be in the real world of your company? So you can only learn so much in classes. You can only learn, for example, graphic design. You can only learn, like, this is how I create a project. I start my sketches, I go on the computer, I do a couple clicks, whatever. I wanted to know, what is it really like to be a graphic designer? Do you sit down every day at your computer and start clicking. What's it like to sit through a meeting? In the morning when you guys plan out your jobs, what your day is going to look like, students need to know that stuff. And that was something really significant that I learned, is that no matter what your talent is, you can still make that talent productive. And that's basically it, is that the goals, it's really important to communicate what your goals are and your students' goals are. Because my goals going into the internship were different from my goals going into my job shadow. The internship, I just kind of was, okay, I'm here, what do I do? The job shadow is, I know what I want to do. I know I want to do graphic design. Show me what it's really like. And so it's very important to know expectations, too.
So did you meet with the Birdsongs before?
Before the internship or before?
Either.
I put in my application for the internship, and then they told me that I was good, and I went to their company, and we kind of had a little meet and greet with everybody in there. And then we started from there. They told us what their expectations were for us, that they wanted to create a campaign for IT and make it applicable to every single student, so it's not just a male-driven and geek-driven, you know, force. It's an everyone can do it sort of force. For job shadowing, by then I'm very familiar with the Birdsongs. They really like me. I really like them. I just emailed them and I'm like, hey, can I come in and job shadow you for this day? They said fine. They set me up with one of their graphic designers, and I job shadowed her all day. They showed me like what's it actually like. So I got to sit behind her, and we started on a couple different projects for the county. We finished up a couple different things. You know, it's really important for students to know that it's not just sitting there having fun all day. It's answering emails too. It's getting organized, being organized. It's all those simple little things that you kind of just forget about. As a student, you don't think that you're going to be sitting there answering emails about a design rather than just designing it. It's important to know that part of my day is going to be spent talking to clients, talking to people, not just sitting there clicking on the computer.
Williamson County Schools appreciates the hard work and tremendous effort Williamson Inc. and their Education Committee has provided to our students so far as they launch this major partnership with our schools. The business community continues to learn how to support the schools with their financial resources, but this is very different. This is great stuff. Imagine someone in the real world taking the time to create an internship for our students, or speak with our students in the classroom, or set up a booth at the county-wide 8th grade career fair, or create an opportunity for our hard-working faculty to better understand how to show the relevance of the WCS curriculum to the real world. The relationship with the Chamber is powerful. The Education Committee initiatives will open young minds to possibilities they may never have imagined. Business people taking the time to talk with our students and our teachers, because they know these conversations could be game changers for a few of the kids they reach. This new program needs you to participate. This new program provides the kind of intangible resources no one but the business community can provide, and that's why money matters. Thank you for watching our show today. My name is Deb Enright. This is Money Matters.
You'd never leave your child alone with this, or this, or this, or this. So don't leave your child alone in a car. Because this can do this to this and this and this. Power windows have hurt or killed hundreds of children. So never ever leave a child alone in a car. Not for 1 minute.